Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? It's October 31st, so you know what that means. It's time for another reading wrap up. I read 10 books. I finished 10 books this month. Unfortunately, one of them is not on either Storygraph or Goodreads, so it's not like counting that in my my stats or anything. So it's telling me I only read 9 books, but that's not true because I did read 10. The first book I finished this month was Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice by Becky Monson, which I read in my reading fall books for a week video, and that one was just a super cute little rom-com book. Her family does own a pumpkin patch, so you know, typical Hallmark movie type beat. I rated that one a 4 stars. If you want more of my thoughts on most of these books, you can just go. I'll put cards in one of these corners for the video that I'm talking about. The next book that I read that I finished was Stealing Home, which is the first book in the Sweet Magnolias series. I gave that one a 3.5 stars. Then the next book that I finished was an audiobook I had been listening to for like 3 months. It was A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. And I'm gonna be honest, this one, it didn't get me. It was predictable, and honestly, I don't get as into audiobooks as I do like regular books, especially since like I was listening to this audiobook for so long that I just didn't really get as into it. I was just trying to listen to it just to finish it. It probably would have got me the plot twist, like revealing who did it, probably would have gotten me more so if I was reading the physical book rather than listening to the audiobook. I gave that one a 3 stars. Then I read Old Country by Matt Query and Harrison Query, and I gave that one a 2.75 stars. I had a lot to say about it, so I definitely would recommend going and watching the video I made if you want to hear more about it, because it was not a book I had ever seen anybody talk about. Then I finished Talking at Night by Claire Daverley, which I was reading for a book club, and I did not like the ending to this book. I'm gonna be honest, I'm very, very, very picky with endings of books, and most standalone novels generally don't live up to my standards of how I would love books to end. And so this one definitely didn't live up to my standards. I don't even know what trope you would call this book, because so it starts and the 2 main characters, they're like 17, 18-ish. They're in like their last year of school before they're like gonna graduate, like high school, the high school equivalent like in the UK. Basically it takes place over like 20 years, maybe not that many, maybe like 17, 18 years of like them just like missing each other. Really upsetting, and like so many miscommunication tropes, and just like people making decisions when they don't really understand the consequences that are gonna happen from them making those decisions. I honestly can't really give you a synopsis or give you like a plot summary without giving like huge plot points away. I mean, I probably already said too much by saying like this entire book is just the 2 main characters missing each other. Oh well. I rated that a 3 stars. Then I finished Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, and I rated that one a 2.5 stars. Then I did my video where I was reading the original Maze Runner trilogy. So I read The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I gave that one a 3.75 stars. And I read The Scorch Trials, which I gave 4 stars. I find it interesting that the second book in the trilogy was my favorite. Usually it's like the other way around, or like the last one, but no, for some reason, for me, the second one was my favorite. I don't know why. And then I read The Death Cure, which I gave a 3.5 stars. And the last book that I read this month was Potter by Lilyan Brooks on Wattpad, for my reading my favorite Wattpad book ever video that I just posted. So yeah, those are the books that I read this month. Let us take a look at my Storygraph stats. Now keep in mind, these are minus the longest book that I read this month. So, according to Storygraph, based on the traditionally published books that I read this month, so I read 9 books, or I finished 9 books for a total of 2,479 pages this month. The biggest mood of the books that I read being tense. 5 of the books that I read were tense. And then 4 were mysterious. Then 4 of them were dark. 4 of them were adventurous. 2 of them were lighthearted. And 2 of them were emotional. 67% of the books that I read were medium paced. 22% were fast paced. And 11% were slow. 89% of the books that I read were at least 300 pages. And 11% of them were less than 300 pages. So Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice was the one book that was less than 300 pages. I read 100% fiction. I read the most young adult books. 3 of them were dystopian, 3 of them science fiction. Those are Maze Runner. According to Storygraph, I read the most pages on October 3rd for a total of 360 pages. That was the day that I read Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice. I really just started that book and couldn't put it down until I finished it. That is all that I have for you guys today, because I don't want to go too in depth on all those books because I have made videos on them that are already up on my channel. So that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're feeling up to it. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye.